fears. Sarah, if you'll be so kind as to inform on the Substack.
I'm watching for it.
Chat comes up. We are live on Blue Sky now via
There's
stream.
Substack.
Yeah.
Bugs. Come on, Substack. Come through. Come through YouTube. Come through.
All right, there we go. So yeah, let me copy this and drop this in. I apologize to everybody who's watching, but I just want to. Okay, so here we go. The week, it still sucks, and it's gonna suck. And so we're gonna sort of talk about survival feelings for a while until we decide that's not what we want to talk about anymore. But so I'm just going to go right into it, and then people can share their perspective. So the starter for this is we can learn to work and speak when we are afraid in the same way that we have learned to work and speak when we're tired. For we have been socialized to respect fear. This is incorrect, but more than our own need for language and definition. And so while we wait in silence for the final luxury of fearlessness, the weight of silence is what will choke us. And so following that train of thought, fear is a visceral and vivid experience. It's like shoving a penny in the back of your mouth and tasting that metallic copper, sensation when, especially as a trans person, deciding whether to use a bathroom in a gas station or not. There's fear that's involved there. That's the cold sweat on your spine when someone clocks you mid-sentence. Their eyes narrow, they're recalculating. There's that fear is every legislative session that we watch while they attempt to erase us and decide whether we deserve health care, or whether my body is real, or whether my children should be taken away from me or not, because that's what fear does to you. And that's the fear that we live in under the current political climate. But here's the thing that I want you to take away from that, and that's that they've always wanted us to be afraid. To be afraid enough to disappear, to go in the closet, to detransition, to die quietly. But most of us aren't. I mean, this live session is essentially none of us agreeing to be quiet. And so what do I say? Fuck their comfort. I'm afraid they'll fire me. I'm afraid my family will abandon me. I'm afraid I'll be murdered for existing. Those are all things that I am legitimately afraid of. I had a work experience where in the not too distant past, where I was sitting in a bathroom and I was using the bathroom, and there were two people who used their names in the bathroom, and one person said to the other, that thing might be in the bathroom with us. And the other person told that person, you need to be quiet. You need to leave her alone. She has enough problems without you spewing that kind of hate. And the other person said, well, he doesn't even look like a girl, so why is he even kidding himself? Yada, 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 yada. And then I walked out of the bathroom after they left. And what I didn't realize is another coworker was in the bathroom as well. And she walked out and she looked at me and she said, "Wendy, are you okay?" And I said, "I'm not okay. I'll live, but I'm not okay." And so I left the bathroom and she was still in there. And so, sure enough, like an hour later, I had an HR meeting pop up on my calendar. And I walked into that meeting, and it was the two people who were talking, myself, an HR rep, and the person who was in the bathroom left when I walked out. I won't say their name. And so my HR business partner basically said, "I understand this has happened, and I want to understand why this has happened." And there was some interaction, and the person who was the guilty party yelled and screamed a bunch. And then when that happened, all of us but the HR person and that person were asked to leave the room. And then a little bit of time later, I found out the person was put on unpaid administrative leave for 2 weeks. They issued an apology to various members of the organization, myself included. And then I was told that will never happen again. And so that's the fear, that we live with. That's the fear I go through every day. So, all right, who wants to go next? I'm not going to pick on people. Oh, okay. Well, sure. There you go, Onyx.
Yeah, fear. Well, so fear. One of the big things that I'm having fear with right now is ICE. And to be completely honest, I'm a black trans woman or trans non-binary woman, and trying to not have my passport, having a birth certificate that does not match my legal name, anything like that. I feel like being caught out on the roads, that I could just get scooped up anytime. So that's a big fear of mine, especially since I've been known to be in Marietta right now. That's where I live. They've been seen in various parts of Georgia, in various stores, in various um, organizations. So, from that point of view, yeah, fear got me. From the point of view of being trans, being trans is resistance, being seen is resistance, being seen is resilience. So I will keep on being openly trans. I will not go back in the closet. I've seen the numbers of a lot of people going back in the closet. A lot of people detransitioning. Well, not a lot of people, some people. But I don't see that as for me. Like, I've been out long enough, and I feel like I'm going to have to stay out in order to uh, not necessarily le- legitimize myself, but to show myself that I can say "fuck you" and um, continue to live my life. At work, I've never had any kind of problem, or when I worked, I never had any kind of problem with my presentation. Using like the women's restroom, I still get like a problem because people will say shit. But I still do. Like, the only time I'll use the men's restroom is if the women's restrooms are like clogged up, and then I have to go to the bathroom really badly. But other than that, yeah, I never in the men's restroom. I don't trust men in the men's restroom anymore. Um, yeah, I, women women's restrooms are kind of tricky for me, but you know what? My voice is kind of deep, so whenever I talk, people are like, "Who the fuck? What's this dude doing in the bathroom?" Um, but I do go like with a partner. Like Egg will come with me, or like a female or woman friend would come with me. But yeah, no. Okay, let me stop talking.
Wendy,
Now I'm
we're
going to
gonna
pick.
pick on people.
No.
Um, yeah. So, on the bathroom fear thing, I've there's all this propaganda about us being predatory in bathrooms, and like none of that is based in reality. And the facts are that um, we're much more likely to be the victim of that kind of assault than a cis woman is, and um, the like they they are at risk, but it's not from us; it's from cis men. We have the same predator, um, and the only place that, or the only bathroom I've been assaulted in was a men's room. um, but that was like pre-transition, and I just wasn't manly enough. So because the bullies were clocking me even before my egg cracked. So, um, but like that on the as far as fear goes, like I had a conversation with my mom um, a few months back, and it was about some of the online harassment that I've received, um, which y'all have too. It's slurs and threats and all of that stuff. And I share some of those things like on my Facebook sometimes because I want people to see that and hopefully uh, call to account their friends or family or whoever who perpetuates that kind of thing. Excuse me. But my mom and I were talking, and she was like, when I first saw you posting about being trans, about issues you face, saw the things that you write about, um, I was really worried for your safety. Um, but then I realized that if you don't speak up for yourself, no one else is going to either. And so I think that's an important part of fear and facing fear is that, um, we have to face it. We have to speak up. And as we speak up, that's how we gather allies to speak up when we're not there.
Yeah, I certainly I certainly agree with your point. I certainly agree with your point.
I, without touching on the political stuff, I feel like my fear has been replaced with rage. And that's basically what's sustaining me at this point. That's, yeah, I can't verbalize it any more than that.
So your fear is replaced by rage and anger.
Mm-hmm.
Does that happen because of your inability to act?
Probably.
Or your fear that what action you can take won't have an
Um. Yes.
impact? That's pretty astute.
But also, like any action that is fueled by rage, what kind of negative impact will it have on the people around me? Because anything that's
That
fueled by rage is not going to be pretty. It's not going to be organized. So I guess fear of that.
I don't necessarily think that's something that you should be afraid of. The other members of the band can comment, but especially if you channel that in the right direction, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's something that's worthy of being afraid of.
Therein lies the problem.
The channeling, is that the...
Yes.
Yeah.
That becomes power.
I certainly agree with that.
Yeah, I think so. It's the channeling part, the focus that may be needed, and that's hard to do when you're in a heightened emotional state. I kind of I mean, some of my fears are related to ice, but not necessarily for myself. I just fear for what they're doing and what part they're playing in what could be a civil war. But and of course then it becomes, am I going to be labeled as a domestic terrorist and that kind of thing? I don't think it will happen to me as quickly as it will some of you all, but it'll get around to that if things don't change. I've thought about like some of the stuff that I write about. I don't write a whole lot of politically charged content, but every once in a while there's something. So I do have some fear that will come back. You know, they'll use that as part of the reasoning or evidence to label me. But more of my fear is for the whole of our community, of our nation. It's not so much for myself as an individual.
I think what you're suggesting is valid. You know, speaking from purely a middle of the road perspective, I feel like, and Onyx, you're certainly going to have an opinion about this. In a racist society, it is not enough to be non-racist. We have to be anti-racist. The same can be said for in a transphobic society. We can't be not transphobic. We have to literally be anti-transphobic or anti-homophobic. And we have to call that out. And the reason for this is that neutrality serves as oppression. Silence enables violence. I'm saying I'm not a racist or I'm not a transphobe or I'm not a homophobe means nothing when you watch injustice unfold and you do nothing about it. Anti-racism, as much as anti-transphobia, anti-homophobia, and anti-rhetoric, requires an action. You amplify marginalized voices, you confront bias, you redistribute resources, you challenge systems, you show up. That applies itself even beyond racial and gender and orientation barriers. Anti-fascism, anti-transphobia, anti-ableism, all demand the same kind of active resistance. You just check yourself every day. What did I do today to try to dismantle that oppression? Normally, when I ask myself that question, it's whatever the fuck it is that I published at 11 o'clock, which I hurriedly publish before 11 o'clock or try to, so that I can drop it into a Jeff Tiedrick post because Jeff's readers really appreciate my writing. But ultimately, if the answer is nothing, if I answer nothing, then I have to admittedly say I'm part of the problem. Being good isn't enough. Being kind isn't enough. Being actively, relentlessly, inconveniently opposed to every hierarchy that crushes my human dignity, everyone else's human dignity, that's the work that I have to do, that any of us should do. And, you know, as a trans woman, I don't get the luxury of neutrality. I walk around, I breathe, I refute the binaries that those people are trying to hold up, be it white supremacy or patriarchy or gender binary or even capitalism. Our existence is political whether we want it to be or not. My bathroom situation echoes that entire sentiment. So, and we have to be fair. I mean, we live in a world where currently fascists are organizing, and they know our names, and they know our addresses, and they know our medical records. And so, when I think about that, I can't actively say I'm going to be neutral. I shouldn't have walked out of the bathroom and said, that hurt me, but I'm not going to deal with it. That was the wrong thing for me to do. And so, you know, that's my complicity. And so that's why I speak out as often as I do. So now I'm going to pick on Miranda.
Yeah, so I think something that we should be aware of when we're talking about like advocating for both ourselves and like the communities that we belong to, but also other communities, whether that is because of race or disability status or what have you, is that it's a lot of small decisions. And you're going to make mistakes. And there are times when even if you've spoken out 10 times in a row, you're going to, like let it slide that 11th time because you're tired of speaking out, or you don't feel that you have the strength in the moment. And it's important to like just move on to like the next moment and try to do better. Because if you're beating yourself up about not doing enough, then you're still not doing enough, but you're not doing enough and you're beating yourself up. So you have to say, I didn't do enough in that one particular situation, but I learned something from it. The next time I'll do this thing differently, or I realized because I didn't, maybe I didn't speak up because I lacked knowledge. I see a lot of that where it's like, well, I can't speak up for trans people because I don't know trans issues. Well, the answer then is learn about us, like ask questions and like seek out the resources that can help you be a better advocate for different groups of people. Wendy, you made me think of a song. There's a song by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit called White Man's World. And he's singing about being a white man and then looking around and like seeing all of his privilege and, looking at his daughter and knowing that like if he's not actively fighting against whiteness, then and patriarchy, then he's not giving her the world that he wants to. There's a particular verse where he's talking about one of those moments of inactivity and being silent in a situation where he should have spoken up. And that goes, I'm a white man looking in a black man's eyes, wishing I'd never been one of the guys who pretended not to hear another white man's joke. Oh, the times ain't forgotten. So, I think that speaks to a lot of things, but it's like that recognition that you didn't use your privilege when you should have is a step toward using your privilege the next time you're in that spot.
I would agree with that. And those words are pretty powerful, Miranda. They really are. She'll eventually see, right? Onyx.
Oh, sorry.
Awkward.
I like the idea of admitting your mistake. Yeah, I like the idea of admitting your mistake, doing better, and moving on. I like that. I as a once again as a black trans person, um, in an interracial relationship, we've been married for 21 years together, 20. Um, we both had to navigate what it means to be both black and her to be white, for her to confront internal biases, of since I was the first black person she dated, and her family wasn't used to dating her bringing home a black person. Like there was a lot of firsts for her and a lot of firsts for me with her. I had to come to an understanding within myself that I was going to have to deal with this family, and this family may be racist, but how am I going to handle that? How am I, as a black trans woman, non-binary person, how am I going to handle this? um, and the way I handled that was education. Now it's not my place to educate everybody I come across, but I do try and leave some crumbs, so that way they can find their way. I'm not going to educate every single person, but yeah, crumbs. I feel like um, hmm, I feel like we need to try to lead people to the not necessarily the right answer, but the right answer for them. But that right answer has to include uh, anti-racism. It has to include anti-transphobia. It has to include uh, dropping the patriarchy. It has to include dropping capitalism. Like all of these things. Like in order to be a person in society, and to be completely ingrained and ingratiated in the society, we have to be anti all of these things. That's the only way this is going to work as a people and as a global unit.
I like what you said about crumbs there, because it's like we do have um, different impacts on different people, and you can't always be the one who's teaching them, James Baldwin necessarily, but
Right.
you can help them get moving in the right direction with your positive influence.
Brandon.
As far as kind of learning and doing better next time, as Miranda was saying, it reminded me of I wrote an article about racism published earlier this week, and it was about an experience I had when I was a child, and wishing I could go back and do more than what I had at the time. I mean, I was a shy, introverted kid. It was my brother, but I told him to shut up. But I wish I would have. I said in the article, I wish I would have could go back and beat his face in. But um, yeah, as far as being actively anti-racist, anti-homophobic, it reminds me of the I think they're called Good Samaritan laws that are in some states. And I never knew those even existed until the series finale of Seinfeld, when they were, standing around watching as some guy was getting robbed, I think it was, and they did nothing and were arrested for it because they were complicit. Basically, they didn't do anything to stop it, and I think that kind of goes back to this subject. If you hear a transphobic, homophobic, racist joke and just ignore it, if you hear someone else saying it and you just don't say anything, you may not laugh, but you may not actually confront the person, and that is complacency, I guess. Complacency, are those
Complicity.
complicity? Yeah. Sometimes I get my words mixed up, even when I'm not high.
Oh,
Complacency, complicity.
Anyway, yeah, I think we all need to, and as far as education, like Miranda was saying, sometimes I don't think you need a whole lot of education. All you need to know is that everyone should be treated decently and with kindness. There's no, that's the minimum. Like there's no excuse for not doing that. You can't blame lack of knowledge or lack of experience or whatever else. There should be a level of decency in everyone.
well,
Hate is taught.
I would readily agree. You were saying,
Oh, hate is taught. Everybody,
yeah.
like when you're born, it's not hate. There's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I guess you really just have things to add because, yeah, the idea of people being ignorant of trans issues, it's a cop-out. Because, I mean, every adult has a concept of human rights and decency. And, I mean, we all know what the golden rule is. If you don't want to be treated that way, why treat somebody else that way? I ran into a similar instance with my mother-in-law. We got into a pretty heated argument. She didn't understand my stance on what was going on with the stuff in Palestine. And it's like, she says, oh, it's complicated. Well, what's complicated about children being targeted? There's nothing complicated about that. And like, I know I'm kind of skipping around a little, but like when I was growing up, I was always taught, like, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. So to me, that means like somebody can talk about how much of an ally they are to any group of people, but if their actions don't reflect that, their words have no power.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. You really are. The problem is with that statement, is that's the way that MAGA's and Trump's base functions. Don't believe anything you hear and only half believe what you see. And they use that methodology as a cop-out for it doesn't exist because I don't believe it. I was doom scrolling through TikTok last night, and there was some dude who was like, I don't believe gay people exist. And it's like,
wow, that's quite a statement.
I'm a ghost.
I like wanted to comment on the dude's message and say, are you sure about that? Because I want to be, and so then later in his spiel, it was, I don't believe they exist because they're demons, or they're people who are possessed by demons. And so
I was close.
trans
Ghost,
people-
demon, something.
yeah, ghost, demon. I mean, you know, can I at least be a cool, you know, tabletop RPG monster if you're gonna put me into that category or whatever? I mean, ghost and demon, it's so boring. And it's so retentive. So I don't know. With we're in the final segment of the show. I don't know if you saw my foodie and practicey moments from the day, but I figured we could talk about those because one of them will make Brandon cringe.
Oh dear.
Um,
Oh no.
okay, you ready, Brandon?
No.
At least he's honest.
Well, here, let's put Brandon up on the top, so because
Oh,
I'm
no.
not gonna, so everybody can watch Brandon react. Now,
Oh,
I
dear.
know this person over here is gonna react when I say this too. Are you ready? Here we go. Ready? Bake your bacon.
Bake your bacon.
Yep.
Okay.
No.
I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah.
I
Why?
can't.
No.
I can't.
Huh?
Why not?
Why can't I?
Yes. Why can't you? You have a stove. You have
I
an oven,
bought a
right?
bacon press. Why would I bake my bacon? I can't use the press with it.
It's delicious.
What the
What's
fuck
a
is
bacon
bacon
press?
It's like
Yeah.
a press that you use for making smash burgers, but you put it on top of the bacon so that it doesn't shrink when you cook it.
Yeah, just like restaurants.
What? I have never heard of this technology, Brandon. Do you know what they're talking about?
I haven't heard of
I
the
haven't-
bacon press.
I've never.
Do I
heard of
need to
a
go
bacon
get
press.
it? I'll go get it.
I don't need it.
It's cast iron and everything.
So whether or not I bake my bacon depends on application. Like a lot of times if I'm cooking, like eggs and bacon, I want to have some of that bacon fat to cook the eggs. So, then I might cook the bacon in the pan.
Yes.
But, otherwise baking the bacon makes a nice, even, crispy slice of bacon. And you can do more fun things like candy it and
Yeah.
yeah.
But
all the
so here's the thing: like, if you bake the bacon, I mean, like, especially if you bake it on parchment paper, doesn't the parchment paper like soak up a super shit ton of the grease?
No, it's like
It does,
not
but some of it
absorptive at all.
pulls. Right. Some of it pulls.
Okay.
Well, I thought you usually bake it on a
I
what
do
do
like
you
a wire rack.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
something that to catch
So
the
the
grease
fat
underneath. So
fat
it's
just
not.
drips underneath.
Yeah.
All of my experience with baked bacon has been not crispy.
I don't eat a lot of bacon actually. I don't. I don't
I don't eat
buy
that
it.
much either.
It's
We have it
I
every
don't-
once in a while.
I
I
don't like a
thought
lot of fried
everybody liked
things.
I thought everybody liked bacon.
Oh, I love
Like,
bacon.
bacon.
We
I
just
thought
have it every
bacon
once in a while.
bacon's a staple to certain.
Yeah. I mean,
Waffle
I heard
House.
that- It's like I just don't. It's fine, but I don't ever buy it.
All right. Well, gosh, I mean, I really thought the first of my food and nourishment items for today's daily. I was sure that was going to be the one that was going to get you. Okay. All right. Start a broth bag.
Okay, I read a mention of a broth bag. I do not know what that is. What is a broth bag?
I have one of those
Okay,
actively
so-
going in my freezer.
Oh, you do?
Know
What is it?
You know the story? Do you know the short story? Miranda will know what I'm talking about. Do you know the short story of Stone Soup?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So basically, you get a random broth of whatever variety, beef, chicken, or vegetable or whatever. And so then you cook through the week. And as you cook through the week, the leftover vegetables that you have from whatever it was that you cooked go into the bag. And then at the end of the week, you basically make a vegetable
Broth.
stew mixture, whatever, and you eat that as a meal.
Okay.
Okay, that's not how I use it, but okay.
I mean, it's basically free nutrients, zero waste. It will flavor the shit out of the broth that you put into it, and you can make an entire soup out of it. Very recently, I'm an Aldi's shopper, so one of the things that I get at Aldi's is this freezer bag stir fry noodly thing or whatever, and it didn't have enough chicken protein in it. So don't laugh when I tell you this, but I ordered a bunch of chicken McNuggets from McDonald's. Diced those up, put them into the mixture, mixed it up, and it was actually really good. So
Okay, I have a problem so far. Right now.
Problem so far. I want to hear this.
Where do you shop again?
I shop at Aldi's.
It's Aldi.
It is Aldi.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh my God! I feel like you're judging me now.
As soon as he said I have a problem, I was like, yeah, he's about to do the pedantic thing, and it's going to be
Yep.
Right.
No, but my mom says that, my grandma used to say she's going to Walmart's and put the S on the end of it.
Or Myers or Kroger's.
Well, I like.
Kroger's.
Yeah. Well, when Gizmo was like 8 or whatever, Gizmo would never call it Target. Gizmo would just call it the Big Red Ball store. The store with big red balls. Wait a second. I'm not gonna go there with my 8-year-old. And then my final food and nourishment tip, and that Brandon, in future shows, you're going to be at the top of the screen for this.
Oh no.
How hard is it to make your own bread?
I don't make it very often, but I have made it. It was all right. I mean, it just takes a while.
But baking bread is not that complicated, right?
No, it's not difficult. It's just the length of time it takes waiting for it to rise, and then again, sometimes it depends on what kind of bread you're making. But yeah, it's not difficult.
Yeah, it's a little bit time consuming. It can be messy too because you're getting out all this flour.
Well, so now Elaine raises this point, and so I'm asking the culinary expert of our group.
Oh gosh, don't ask.
I consider
that's not me.
Brandon the culinary expert of our group. Is a bread maker worth the money?
Oh well, I don't. For one thing, I don't like the space it takes up.
Because they're so big and bulky.
Yeah, I have an air fryer that somebody gave me, and that's bulky enough. But I like my counter space, and if I've got this huge, because a bread maker is fairly good size, and I don't want to have it out all the time, and also don't want to taking up space in my cabinets and stuff like that. So for me, I'd rather just make it homemade without the bread maker, just because I don't want to deal with that thing all the time. Because I don't break beds. I don't break beds. I don't break beds.
Are you sure about that?
Try harder.
I don't.
Wow.
I don't break beds or bake bread, either one, very often. So for me, it probably would not be worth it. If you want, I guess if you did it a lot, and especially if you were gonna sell it at a farmer's market or something like that, then maybe it might be less time consuming and stuff like that. But for me, no, it wouldn't be worth it.
Mm-mm.
We used to have one, but we have to do gluten free because my wife and and younger kid have a gluten allergy. And even though there were like recipes that were like, here's how to do gluten-free bread in a bread maker, it always came out too dense.
Mm.
Okay. Well, for the final bit, we're gonna pick on Sarah. So day-to-day life practice. So people will laugh, but I have the ADHD cleaning journal to remind me to do shit around my house. And so one of the things that this thing teaches you is the first place rule. Do you know about the first place rule? When you are looking for something and it's not the first place you check, that's the place you should always put it. Pure logic. If you go looking for something and the first place you check it's not there, that's where you should put it.
That makes sense.
Now, if it's on the floor, that's probably not a good place to put it.
Or in seasonal clothing.
Wait, you put shit
I make
in the
piles
seasonal
on the floor.
clothing?
Sometimes I put my keys in my winter coat. Sometimes they just get left in the pocket.
Okay. I just want to ask, I have a healthy use of command hooks. Am I the only person that does this?
I mean, I've got a bunch of hooks on the other side of my door, but that's for coats.
Like the plastic, like
No,
adhesive
I've got an
command hook.
over-the-door thing that has 2 shelves on the top and then like a row of hooks for all my coats.
Really?
Yeah, that's what we have too.
We've
It's
got one
like
of those in the
my
bathroom
coats,
for
my
towels.
wife's coats, and the kids' coats.
Okay.
I can't get command hooks to stick to my walls because I've got plaster.
Mm.
It just
Really?
tears holes. Yeah. I had one on the wall over here, and it was holding a hat, and it kept falling off the wall.
A hat's not that heavy.
I know.
Did you cry at the drop of your hat?
No. I might have said, "What the fuck."
Buy 40 pairs of the same socks.
I agree with that.
You find the socks you like, buy dozens, throw out all the others. Never match socks ever again. One gets a hole, throw it away. You still have 39 identical mates waiting to take its place. Should that become a problem, buy bulk socks. See, but I have a problem with this. And the problem with that is this. So I love very high length socks, like that go well above the knee. Buying 40 pairs of those would be severely problematic because it would
And they don't sell those in the bulk pack.
No.
Your options in the bulk pack are like crew socks and like ankle socks or whatever.
And then like a nonsensical trans woman, I bought like 3 pairs of the fleece lined tights that look like you're just wearing tights or whatever, and so but those deteriorate over time. And then I bought like they swear they're no tear opaque tights or whatever. Oh, they tear all right. So the 40 pair of sock thing, like if you're a Bombas wearer, she's a Bombas wearer. She wears Bombas. So I get. But the problem with Bombas is like if you order a big pack of Bombas, invariably they're not the same color. And so that sort of like sticks that one out.
I bought my first
Now
pair
I have
of
another
pants last
cooking
year.
one. Yeah, I have another cooking one, and this is going to end up being a Brandon question.
Oh
But
dear.
Sarah can maybe answer this question. So make coffee at home. So
Mhm.
Starbucks is fucking a highway robbery, right? You go to Starbucks, that's like too much money. So
I
if you
completely
buy
agree.
like a Reveal espresso machine, and okay, really? You've already been to
Wow.
Starbucks today, Brandon? Is that what
No,
you're telling me?
I had a gift card that I got for Christmas. So this is not my own money.
Okay. So the question is, like, if you buy a Reveal espresso and coffee maker, is that a financially worth it endeavor?
I would say so.
I mean, Miranda, you have a pretty extensive coffee setup, right?
Mhm.
And you don't buy Starbucks coffee,
No,
but you walk to the coffee house and you buy their
yeah,
coffee.
right. But the thing with going to the local coffee shop is I'm going for the vibes and the environment and the people.
Right.
And so spending a few extra bucks for the coffee versus what it would cost me at home is, you know,
At
paying
that
for that
point,
experience, I guess.
yes, you're paying for the experience.
Yeah, there's human interaction there. So
But we
it's
have
funny.
our main coffee machine is one that has different settings for like regular brewed coffee, extra strong, so you can make iced coffee, or extra strong, so you can do like not quite espresso, but it's still a little bit stronger. So if you want to steam some milk or whatever,
Right.
that's an option.
Yeah, I mean that tracks. The reason that I would go to a coffee shop. So we're gonna move in like 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. And the place that we've chosen to move, there's like a coffee shop a block away. There's a Waffle House a block away, and there's 2 fairly decent pubs and bars like a block away, block and a half away, or whatever. I'm like, great. That's absolutely perfect. I can live with that. It's acceptable for me to go into one of those places, pay for a beverage, just to get the extra human interaction. Because paying for the human interaction, even minimally, is an acceptable circumstance from my perspective. So, yeah, I would readily agree. I don't know, Brandon, do you go to the coffee shop local to your space very often?
Not very often. Working from home, it doesn't make sense to drive into town to get coffee and then drive back to. I mean, you're also you're spending money on coffee, but you're also spending money on gas back and forth. I make my own coffee every morning, and I have a couple different machines. I have a K-cup machine because sometimes, especially in the evening or something, I just want 1 cup, and to make a pot of coffee that's just doesn't have a lot in it, it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But my other coffee pot, I make more of that. Drink that in the morning. I don't often go to Starbucks, but today I was in town getting stuff because we're supposed to have a bunch of snow possibly this weekend, and be really cold, and I'm not going to want to get out. So I just wanted to have everything I wanted. I didn't really need much, but anyway, since I was in town already and I had this gift card from Christmas that I haven't used up, I got a I don't know if you can read it. Grand. Oh well. Okay. Well, it says Grand. grande white chocolate mocha. And I
Well, okay,
really
hold
do
on,
like
hold on a second.
what?
You're drinking a white chocolate mocha.
Without
Yeah,
peppermint?
So
with oat milk.
with oat milk. Okay. That's literally, if I drink coffee at Starbucks, that's literally the only thing I drink.
Oh yes. See,
Although
I do.
most of the time, because I have a, what the fuck? Oh, my phone dropped. Jesus Christ.
She's over there just throwing things around again.
Yeah.
Sarah, I'm going to have to ask you to shut the fuck up.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me to leave.
I change it up sometimes.
I mean, my coffee solution at home is... Wow, this went off the rails really quickly. That went off the rails horribly. Sure, okay. My coffee solution at home is literally a water boiler and the big bulby Chemex pour over when I make coffee. Now I have a shit. I was a trade coffee membership person. You know, I had the trade coffee membership or whatever, where they sent me 2 bags, and for like a year, so I have like a whole shit ton of unopened coffee.
Of
bean
stale
bags.
coffee.
Yeah. Well, it won't be stale because they're sealed, but anyway, but
keep
when I
mine
make
in the-
coffee, yeah, that's, you know.
Okay, if I have like a bag of it, I'll keep it in the freezer, so because supposedly that keeps it longer or whatever. But
If it's vacuum
Oh, it
packed, it
does?
doesn't matter. But yes,
Wait, it does matter or it doesn't matter?
if it's vacuum sealed, it doesn't matter.
If it's vacuum
Okay,
sealed,
if
it
it's
doesn't
vacuum
matter.
sealed. Yeah. See, all of my bags are vacuum sealed.
Not if they've got the little holes in them from the manufacturer.
Yeah, if it has
But
the little vent
If
part.
you can squeeze it and smell it, it's not sealed.
Yeah,
If you can squeeze it I should check that.
Put
I've
it
got
in the
an
freezer.
impulse sealer that will suck all the air out of it, and then
nice.
like the heat seal it.
Okay, I was not keenly aware of this. See, for as much as I drink coffee, I am not coffee aware. Of course,
I
I
know
spent a week
people-
in Miranda's apartment, and she makes great coffee. So
I know people like that Sarah was talking about that suck all the air out of the room.
Yeah.
sure about that?
I think so.
All right. Well, with that, I'll bring it to a close. Miranda's typing. Miranda, you sound like you're angry at your keyboard.
I was typing quietly. It's like,
Oh
it's like,
no! Look.
It sounds like the chat room is lit. You know.
Yeah. Can you hear that? Is that loud? How
That's
loud
not
is
that loud.
Darn. That keyboard is intentionally loud. So we're tired, and we're just trying to get by. And here's the thing: while we're up here having this talk, you know, there's people out there who are trying to undermine us getting through and surviving all this bullshit. But they keep miscalculating. And why? Because we've been dying and surviving and thriving in cracks of their system for generations. That's not going to stop. I'm not going back into the closet by any means. But that doesn't mean that I can't find a space in a location where I feel safe enough to express myself. And so, you know, we know how to hold each other when the state won't. And that's the long game. It's not the comfortable one. It's not the one where we get to rest, but it's the one where we become ungovernable. That every act of care and sedition, where our existence, messy, imperfect, and defiantly visible, becomes the crack that splits their foundation. And so, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to keep being loud, connected, and fucking alive while all of this shit burns. And if that means I have to grow food and get angry and do and say shit, then that's what I'm going to do. And I prefer to do it with all of you guys than have to go out there and do it to people who are going to call me a thing and misgender me and say really mean shit. The future isn't handed down from the powerful. You shouldn't think that. It's built by the people that they try to get rid of. One stubborn act of survival at a time. And so we build it down, we get through it. And that's how it works. Does anybody have closing thoughts? I'm a horrible I'm a horrible orator, by the way.
No, you can't see it.
I have a closing thought.
Okay, I want to hear it now.
So you were talking about how they keep miscalculating, and that's because evil is boring and it's methodical and it's always the same thing. They use the same tricks over and over again. They think that force is how to solve problems, but we're more creative than they are. And that's why they can never really get rid of us.
I mean, that mentality is summed up by my favorite comedic actor, Rick Moranis, in the Mel Brooks classic Spaceballs, which is the greatest science fiction movie ever made, in which he says, evil will always triumph because good is dumb. Now, ultimately, when he says this, it is within moments that he hits the self-destruct button on Mega Maid, causing her to explode and evil to actually lose. But yeah, they miscalculate because they expect our complacency. And we won't be complacent. I mean, I'm not going to be complacent. I wouldn't expect either of the four of you to be complacent either. Complacency is not fun anyway.
The only thing I'm going to be complacent in is this being a problem.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. So, in closing, I can do this again tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Do you guys want to do it?
Yep, let's do it.
Sure, why not?
It's Friday. Not sure.
Oh, not sure. But we can tee it up with 4 people. I'll have another good topic, I promise. I literally, the Daily Digest it's taken me like a long time to get the Daily Digest into like the form that I think people like or that people want. And I'm almost down to like, I've hit that sweet spot. So from a topics perspective, I maybe should have realized this like 8 months ago, but I didn't. So, oh well. Anyway, all right. Well, Miranda, Brandon, Onyx, and Sarah, thank you, all 4 of you, for. Don't listen to her. Don't make the noise. Don't make the noise. Don't stop making the noise. You know, I'm just going to tell you, one day she's actually going to have to come on to the show,
Ugh.
and I can't wait for that to happen. All right, to everybody watching, thank you for participating. We'll be back tomorrow at 1:00, whether we have the whole band or not, and we'll be talking about the same things. I'll make Brandon laugh and cringe at my food nourishment suggestion.
Well, Wendy, if you decide to get loud and angry, just try not to do it at Aldi's. All these nuts.
How did I know you were going there?
Right. It was the perfect setup.
It was so obvious, though.
All these nuts.
Now you got her doing it. You're the end of the shit. Oh, okay. To everybody watching, be good, do good things, stay safe out there. We can't do this without you guys watching. I can't do this without the band, which I never want the band to break up. Let's just promise never to break the band up. That's how we'll get through it. I'm not going to be Murrow, but I will say good night and good luck.